There are many different program design frameworks available, and their use ranges from nonprofit, social services, and education to government and international development. The first model we are going to explore is called Theory of Change. It is unique among program models because it is used very widely across many sectors. The Theory of Change framework is also often used as the foundation for a more detailed action plan. During the accelerator, you will first develop your team theory of change and then create a more detailed action plan using another program model framework that works best for your context. Theory of change models are conceptual and provide a big picture inspirational view. Other models, including program logic models and log frames, are more operational. They provide a detailed roadmap for how you will accomplish your goals and indicate how you will know when you've accomplished them. A theory of change is a quick way to communicate your mission and vision to someone who doesn't know very much about what you do or who you are. Program design models are a good way to share very specific details of your plan with people who want to learn more deeply about your strategies. Another way to think about it is that the theory of change provides a very high level or global perspective, and your program design model is the street view navigation. Both are showing the same space, just at different levels of detail and for different but related purposes. Your problem statement and guiding question are the foundation for developing your theory of change. A theory of change presents a big idea that will help you get from your current condition to the desired condition. The strategies you develop should be a response to your guiding question to achieve your intended results or the desired condition. A third, very important element of your theory of change are your assumptions, which help guide the strategies you choose and what results you can expect. It's this combination of results, strategies, and assumptions that make up a theory of change. These should also correspond to your mission, what you intend to do, and your vision or your image for a better world. As you are working through this design process, you might find it actually helps you refine your mission and vision as well. It's important to remember that your theory of change is your big idea. It should be exciting and showcase a dream or the idea to make your dreams come to life. It should make someone say, "Wow, that sounds amazing. Tell me more." Let's look at each of these components a bit more closely, starting with results. Results should reflect your vision for your desired condition, how you want the world to be, or the change you have created, very similar to your vision statement. They should also reflect your values, or why you think this change is important and needed. Next, let's take a look at strategies. Strategies should be based on evidence, data, experiences, your need finding, and other solid examples of success. They should be feasible for you to accomplish with your resources in your given context. For example, you might not have the time or resources to organize a week-long international conference for 300 attendees, but you might be able to organize a weekend workshop for 30 people. Your strategies should be plausible, meaning it should be logically possible for your strategies to achieve your expected results. Finally, let's take a look at assumptions. Assumptions should clarify knowledge and beliefs of all stakeholders, yourselves included, clarify views on what should or could work and why, guide the work to be done based on knowledge, research, practice, theory, and experience, explain what makes your model likely to succeed, ensure transparency, and help create a shared understanding for everyone reading your model. Assumptions are statements that are accepted as truth in the context of your project. They should answer the questions, what do we know, based on need finding, research, theory, and analysis? What do we believe, based on our experiences, values, habits, training, and even based on stereotypes or biases? And where is the gap in our perceptions, experience, knowledge, or training? Assumptions set the foundation for why you think your ideal will work, which is the theory part of your theory of change. Let's look at some examples for each of these components. To help illustrate the process of developing your theory of change, I'm going to show two examples from the accelerator. We'll just focus on the results and strategies first, and then talk about assumptions later. In this example, our strategies are to provide training and conduct assessment. The result is that social impact leaders take action to address social issues in their communities. Take a minute to think about what works with this model and what questions it brings up. Some questions you might consider are, does the result indicate some kind of vision or values? It does because it describes an ideal context of aspiring leaders taking action and having a tangible effect. Are the strategies evidence-based and plausible? Maybe, but we don't have a lot of information to go on. Both sound like good ideas, but it's hard to know how realistic they are without a bit more information. Is it clear how the strategies and results connect? Not entirely. It's difficult to see the logic in this model because we don't know enough about the strategies to understand how they will get us to our results. Also, does it answer our guiding question? How can aspiring social impact leaders be connected, supported, and enabled to take action to effectively address social challenges in their communities? Not really, because this model isn't specific enough. Let's look at the second model. For this one, the strategies are more specific. We have building effective, resilient leadership teams, teaching social impact project development skills, and creating a supportive, collaborative international network. Does the connection between strategies and results seem more plausible here? Much more than in version 1, because we have a better sense of what those strategies will look like, and it better answers our guiding question. Teams will be connected and supported through the first and third strategies of building teams and having a support network, and they will be enabled to create change by learning specific skills. Here we can see the logic, and it makes more sense that our strategies will get us to our desired results. Now that we've reviewed results and strategies, let's take a minute to think about the assumptions we might be making with the accelerator program. We have many assumptions, but here are just a few examples. An assumption based on what we know is that team structures are important to project success. We know this based on past experience and research, so we made one of our requirements for this program to join as a team. It's possible to offer this kind of training to individuals, but we are less sure about the chances of success. An assumption based on what we believe is that solutions must come from the local community and must be informed by local contexts, perspectives, and resources. As an organization, VIA believes it's not our place to tell people how to solve their problems. We would rather support and assist others in developing solutions. An assumption we are making based on a gap is that it's possible to deliver effective training through a primarily virtual course. VIA has a long history of in-person programming, and we know our curriculum is strong, but we are currently testing how to deliver the similar quality experience online. We think this is possible, but we won't know for sure until we start to see the results after the program. In fact, all of these assumptions are continually being tested. As you develop assumptions for your own model, consider them your best guess or your hope. You may learn things later on that either confirm or disprove your assumptions, and that's okay. Let's think about why assumptions are so important. What if VIA staff didn't discuss the importance of teams? What if some staff thought that the program could be designed for individuals and some thought it should be designed for teams? If that was the case, we might have accepted a combination of individuals and teams to the program. We would have struggled to make sure the assignments connected to each other and were relevant for all of the participants. It would be hard to make sure the participants achieve their desired learning outcomes and ensure that VIA achieved its goals for the program. Thankfully, we did discuss the importance of teams and included that element in the program design. Basically, it's important to talk about assumptions to make sure everyone is on the same page. Because we are not always aware of our assumptions, this can be tricky and it's an ongoing process. Try to check in on your assumptions throughout the program design process. Also remember to use the resources introduced earlier for team building and communication to discuss and agree on your assumptions as a team. You're almost ready to start working on your own theory of change. Here are some final design tips to get you started. Your graphic should clearly illustrate the relationship between your strategies and results, but it doesn't have to be a left to right linear model. Find a structure that works for you. A theory of change really should be conceptual, showing the big picture and not getting too specific. However, it's okay to provide some additional details if you feel they are helpful. In my interpretation of this model, the part that says to deal with shocks and slides, leaders must focus on 4 shifts is basically the core strategy informed by their assumptions. Then that strategy is broken down into the 4 shifts, and each shift has some results, or in this case, they are kind of indicators that tell us what the shift would look like. Also notice that they've incorporated some elements of a problem statement at the top, with economic downturns, climate change, etc. The only thing that is missing from this model is a larger results statement that tells us why this change is important. Finally, be creative. Sometimes identifying a metaphor for what you're trying to accomplish is helpful. Are you building a robot? Growing a garden? Is your program a mountain or a waterfall? Developing a visual story for your theory of change is exciting for your readers and can make your concept more understandable. Just make sure that your core message doesn't get lost. Just as a fun example, our staff recently did a little brainstorm activity for a visual accelerator metaphor. We had a lot of great ideas come up, and I picked one of them, the rocket ship idea, to illustrate our theory of change because we already use space as a theme with the accelerator quite a bit. So a metaphor helped us go from this, which is just a simple diagram, to something more interesting. Our strategies include building effective, resilient leadership, like a well-trained crew to pilot the rocket ship, training in project development, which could be designing the rocket ship and planning the mission to explore the galaxy, and creating a collaborative, international, or maybe interplanetary network of peers that supports you, encourages you, and provides perspectives from their own experiences and exploration. All of these strategies enable social impact leaders to successfully launch their rockets or their programs to address social challenges in their communities. Using a metaphor can help you think about the relationship between your theory of change elements differently, and also make it more interesting and inspiring for your stakeholders. Now it's time for you to develop your own theory of change. Just remember that there is no right or wrong way, and your model will likely evolve as you work together as a team.